I am Ann-Peggy Divine. Welcome to the Divine Design, the podcast where we unfold heaven on earth and reframe spirituality and theology for a new cosmic era. Your journey on human evolution and integration of your divine design starts here. Welcome, Colin with me.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Wow, we lined up and we wasn't sure if this should be a podcast or not, but we have touched on the pulse and the rhythm of life. And it's interesting that you have gone into it in your way and I have gone into it in my way. So we want to say something about it because we see this as the new that we are moving into, another way of being.
Yeah. I think it came. What reminded me of the book I've just read was that you were describing how you were moving out of the need to do in a very sort of masculine world where we have to achieve and we have to be something. We have to have a career. We've got this. And we build these almost like our personalities around all this need to do.
Yeah.
What's coming up now is that all of those things are falling away from us as we rise in these beautiful new frequencies. And something that a friend said, you want to read this? Not that she's read it herself, she knows it's good. Let me see, the New Human Experience by Rebecca Dawson. Now this one, and there's an accompanying one after this as well, which is equally as interesting, although you have to really be prepared for precise language in it. It's not for everyone, but I love that sort of thing. It's my thing. But what was interesting was when we were talking there, is that this idea that we're moving from this flip-flop approach, this polarity. People talk about polarity, but what the understanding of polarity is very much that cause and effect, good, bad, dark, light, love, hate. There's always an end, two ends of it.
Yeah.
In a way, and these are held according to this. This is a channeled book, but according to this description now, our chakras are beginning to fade in these new frequencies, and they're going to be replaced by what they're describing as a node, which is they're describing as somewhere between the heart and the solar plexus. So it's a sort of a new center of our being in the body, and the description was that our chakras in the spin, they hold the memories of like emotional traumas, and they could be from we brought with us into the body from birth. They could be experiences during our experience in this body, but they hold that, and they're constantly spinning, and as a result, there's this idea that there's karma. So the whole idea of karma comes with the on-off cause effect thinking structure. So you did this, you pay this way, you retribution, all of those ideas are linked to this idea of on-off.
Yeah.
In out. So when you lose that, when your body loses those reference points, if you like, and the chakras go, and this is why I think lots of people are feeling these emotions flying out, they'll suddenly appear and then go. And this is us restructuring. This is our bodies reconfiguring energetically.
Yeah.
This new node appears, then we're going to be working to a new rhythm, and the new rhythm they're describing as a pulse.
Yeah.
Now it's interesting you said what's the difference between a pulse and a rhythm, and you looked it up.
Yeah.
Because they're basically similar, but but the pulse, the way they describe it is that it's not something that we control in the way that we used to think we were controlling things in the past. Like you'd have a plan and you'd have a end result and you'd be aiming for that end result. The way that the creation works through us
Yes.
when we become this is that we're kind of in control, but we're more like observers of ourselves doing this.
We allow the divine pulse to come through us. So it's the allowance.
Yeah, and it's and to allow, we've talked about this a lot. To allow, we have to say yes.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I will be this.
Yes.
And then boom, it's there. And as we're talking it, I can feel it settling in, and because I think sometimes we do stuff and we don't have the words necessarily. We've, oh wow, that was, this feels different. And then for me, I know that again we've talked about this a lot. My method seems to be, or my guides say, here, you want to read this. I think other people they may have different stimuli, but that's mine.
Yeah.
So I'll get a book and I'll go, oh, that's it, pulse, absolutely. And it came up in a conversation with some other people, and they immediately related to it. It's almost like it's something we're experiencing, but we haven't found the language to explain it yet.
Yeah.
And yet here's somebody I mean, she wrote this in a few years ago. That's what always fascinates me is that I'll pick a book up that was written way back, and it's describing something that I'm experiencing now as if it's right and brand new. Whoa, this is
Yeah.
amazing. But yet, it's like maybe it's just a timing thing, and that
The
people have,
rhythm, yeah.
yeah. So they've written this ahead of when it's happening. But hey, it's brilliant. I love the descriptions in there. It's well worth a scan just to find out more about how those mechanisms, weave and work together. Um, but yeah, so that was my sort of thing of the week.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I'm writing a book now about kind of the same, but I will use different words, and I have created some new words, and also it is when we lined up, you use the word pulse, and I say what has been very much in my field is how to honor the feminine flow much deeper, because the feminine rhythm is so different from the masculine rhythm. And it's not that the masculine rhythm is wrong, but the feminine rhythm, it's more mother nature. It's more honoring all the biology. We have so much biology on Mother Earth. And since I'm very much into health, I see that a lot of our disease and imbalance is because we are not honoring the rhythm of our biology. So if we look into nature, we see that biology, if we see insect, if we see animal, if we see plants, they are honoring their rhythm. But we as human does not. And since we are not honoring our rhythm, we become sick. And actually, I had planned something masculine today, and all my beings like, no, I cannot go the masculine way. So I said, okay, on hold, and now I will do a feminine day honoring my own rhythm, because for when I was in my teenage, I was shown that what happened when I was a teenager, I was kind of programmed to be in a masculine rhythm, and I was so much sick in my teenage. So we have to take back the rhythm that is good for us. So masculine is more kind of the linear way, and it's nothing wrong with the linear way, but the feminine way is not a linear way. It's kind of intertwining all dimension, future, past, and yeah, but the feminine is more like the moon phase. It's like we are following the cycles of 28 days. So the feminine way is more into the moon and astrology way than the masculine way.
And I think, as you say, masculine there, I think there's something else happening with that, in
Yeah.
that a lot of the experiences I've been having have been bringing the feminine into, my sphere. And I think the new masculine has that relationship with nature.
Yes.
The idea that, I'm one of those tree huggers kind of thing, but I can sense into the nature in a new way. I can feel the energies going down through the roots of a tree and then out into the world. I can relate to nature in a different way.
Yes.
And so I think it's the change because I've come from a very on-off career sort of environment myself. You
Yeah.
know, working in computers, it's either on or off. There's a one or a zero. That's very, very, very in that, So
Yeah.
I've come from a totally structured mental, that's how things work,
Yeah.
to a more fluid, oh yeah, yeah, I can go with that a little more. So like you've described, whenever I hit a thing that's very structured now, I'm sort of, oh, that's a bit. So, for example, I think was talked to somebody the other day about how um, religions have structured people's approach, even to talking about things, divine, as you're talking. They've got sort of boxes around the even that, that only this person in this hierarchy
Yep.
has the capability because they've studied hard or whatever it is. So you have to go through them if you want to get up there.
Yep.
That's all part of that fading system now. So
Yes.
that also will change
Yeah.
because there's no energy to sustain it anymore. And I think again, that was imposed by a masculine um, ideal, whereas I think the new masculine will be much more the sort of wholeness approach,
Yeah.
much softer, but still very, very powerful. I think that, but the power is so different because I think earlier on we were talking about how love is the mechanism through which
Yeah.
all of this
Yeah.
happens. So that's the sprinkle of or divinity, if I use that word, but that's where mine flows from. And
Yeah.
I think there's the change because how many men talk about love in that way? Again, the masculine traditionally would be stiff upper lip. Oh no, we don't talk about that sort of thing. Particularly in this country, we're very good at it. Uh, we're English, so you don't show your feelings. Stiff upper lip. So yeah, it's funny that that's the change that we're seeing. But yeah, I think the overall this idea of a pulse and being in the rhythm of that is our new that's the new thing.
Yeah.
And how we respond to that and how we create our world from there will be the way that's our move, if you like, into this new dimension where we're moving away from all that, you know,
Yeah.
chaos and control.
Yeah. And as you say, emotion, when all the clients I have, I see that what happens almost every session we have, a lot of tears. And someone say, "Oh, I wasn't meant to tear up. I don't want all these tears." But I say, when we tears up, this is because it is truth. We are, we feel the connection to our truth. And that's when our eyes kind of start to we cry because it's happy tears because we feel the truth. The feminine way is kind of we feel the truth, not understand it from the mental, but it is we feel it. And when I talk about feminine rhythm and feminine pulse, it's not that I'm against the masculine because it is an intertwining. How can we find a balance between? I haven't in my system. I haven't had balance. I have lived a very masculine life. So that's why I see a lot of my symptom was because I didn't honor my femininity. And I see that my husband have a total different rhythm, and I have envy him the rhythm he has because it's like he can do so much, but I had to find my rhythm to really stand strong in my, and then we can intertwine in a better way. And because it's the feminine holder, kind of. We need the feminine holder, and it's not just women that can go into the feminine holder. We, as man and woman, have both. So it's the balance. It's how to come. You have talking so much about celestial alchemy, come to this balance point, and this is the same as divine design. I could kind of embrace my divine design when I was in balance, but before I was in balance, I couldn't. I said no, 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 no. It's because I couldn't embody it because my body wasn't in balance.
I think that's key. Yeah, the energy that we're experiencing and the flow needs a balanced.
Yes.
Well, in fact, what it needs is a lack of this polarization. So
Yeah.
when we're talking about balance, we're not talking about these two things being held as like they're we've got them in balance now, so we're okay. We're talking about them not being there.
Yeah.
Talking about us being in a totally new state where we don't even talk about these as polarities anymore,
Mm.
and we become something new
Yeah.
that is um yeah, we're still in human form. We're still in like male and female bodies, but this the thing that drives us, that our identity that we've got, isn't that where we're coming from is this wonderful new state where
Divine
those
pulse,
things,
a divine pulse that just come through us.
and it's not it doesn't hold the same attachment to identity, even masculine, feminine. It it has a different relationship with energy. So we're using language to try and describe it,
Yeah.
and it talks about excuse me, it talks about that in the book. It talks about when you're here, don't try and use the language of 3D to describe it, because the language of 3D is still in polarity.
Yes, it
When
is.
you're here, use the language from this place, because it's got its own language. It's got your awareness of how it all works is drawn from here. So it's almost like our tendency to try and use our brains and structure every thought is also going to change, because even that's coming through from a different place, from our divine essence, this part of us that's now finding how to express itself,
Yeah.
uh, and some of the structures we've used to get to this place. We wouldn't be able to be here now if we couldn't communicate. We wouldn't be talking on this platform if there wasn't some language to say.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think our use of the language and the way that it's going to be describing these things will move away from this idea, even because I mean my all my healing stuff was around balance, achieving balance. One of my websites was called Achieving Balance, and it was all,
Ah,
even my logo there, I got this logo of the the balance, and so everything was around balance. And I even had absolute balance geometry that I'd created. So yeah, I mean, I'm Mr. Balance, and yet now this thing's saying, yo, you don't need to worry about balance. It's only a concept when you've got two things that need to be balanced.
yeah.
And
And
so if you have, yeah,
yeah,
so if you haven't got those, if you're in this new place, then what's balance?
yeah,
So
exactly.
yes, it's even asking us to read, have another look.
Yeah, and what you are talking about, I get the kind of words here. I hear that we talk about consciousness and intelligence. And consciousness, it's not the same as intelligence, because we are so much kind of programmed to think intelligence, and it's amazing by itself. But what we need, the new human, is more kind of evolving the consciousness and bringing more dimension, because as you say, 3D, we don't have the language in the 3D way of thinking, so we have to kind of open our consciousness. So it is kind of the expansion of the consciousness, and with that, we will use the intelligence. So, but not as a masculine and feminine way.
That's it. Yeah, it's a new way. Yeah. I mean, for me anyway, that sounds really exciting. That's something that's really, you think, wow, that's good. That is good. That's coming through us. And those of us who are touching that place and describing it or trying to, we're also now these nodes that we're creating in ourselves. They're not static. They don't just sit there. You know, they radiate. They're our, and they said we're the portal.
Yeah.
We talk about portals and flying through portals, and I had one of my meditations, which was going to be the celestial pulse, which I'm working on. And I was having people sort of fly off on backs of dragons and through portals, and going way out there. I was thinking, hang on, that's not where it is anymore. Those were my descriptors from, I don't know, 2017 when I was trying to describe it. I was still trying to describe pulse, but it was out there somewhere. And so I'm having to relook at the way that we approach it, because I think it's in here. It's through our internal portal that we've become. And that's where pulse is going to be.
Yeah.
That's where our divine, no, I can feel it now. That's where our divine is flowing through us now. It's through this vehicle, this body of ours, which again is pretty miraculous. So yeah, I mean, it really excites me to think about how that's going to work, and how to express it in ways that would people might relate to, because it's phenomenal. I mean, just talking about it now, I know that these words are carrying it. I can feel it. It's flowing. But it's so new. I haven't quite wrapped the words around it properly yet. But we said, well, let's do it anyway. Let's
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we just jump up. But I want to bring one of the words that came through me, one of the new words. I don't know if it's new, but for me it's new, and we haven't used it so much because we are in a big evolution. And it was shown me that what we are kind of in is like the evolumen. We are evolumen because we are becoming more light. So we will use the word evolumen to kind of show the experience and what is happening. So this will be in the new book, Evolumen. It's like, yeah, the evolution now, it's we are becoming more light. Our body can hold more light. And it will show me also the hormones and the karmic. Yeah, it goes deep. It goes deep because, yeah, now I won't go into it because it goes so deep. But the way we have thought about concept and the way we have been, it will be at 360 degrees. So it's like, and we don't have the proper language yet, but more and more words would come and we would understand more and more, and we integrate more of our celestial alchemy actually. How can we intertwine the celestial and the universal into Mother Earth?
Because I mean, I still use language that I've been using from way back.
Yeah.
Uh, because what part of the because I was talking to a couple of friends about this earlier in the week, and I was saying that what I would do is in my meditation, I would first we would line up, so I would we would the energy would go up to source and then come back, and I'd got them to imagine a crystal, a diamond crystal in their heart, and then that's where the energies would come in, and then all these lovely spirals of rainbows would come in and go into every cell, and then now go into the earth, and the same would come up. And so that would be their preparation for the journey. They would be in this sparkling energy, so that they're prepared. But then I had this idea that they maybe would need some help getting to where they're going. So I had introduced them to my guardian angel, Ariel, who I'd met years and years ago. A lovely lady painted her for me. So she used to do that sort of thing. She'd say, "Would you like to see your guardian angel?" And then she'd get a message and paint them. So yeah, so I've had that. I've known that energy for a long, long time, and many times I've actually brought that energy into my body as like a human angel. Me becoming a human angel. So I'm using that language of what I believe angelics feel like. Anyway, after I described this to them, and I'd sat down and I was just doing a quick meditation in between things that go on here, um, and I felt like as if this frequency, this being that I'm calling Ariel, wanted to integrate more fully. And I said, okay, what? So yeah, okay, what do you want? So she said, well, just open, just
Yeah.
be open.
Yeah.
And in she came. And the feeling is I can only describe of touching creation,
Yeah.
of Elohim, of the Elohim are here. Oh God, and I just filled up with this energy. And yeah, I'm choking up again.
Yeah.
And that merging, she said, this is you and your divine feminine
Yeah.
and your divine. So we were talking about that earlier. So the language is still working for me in this moment, but then I'm sort of, oh, whoa, that was big.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then you're here. Like more of you is here, more of who we are. So the things that we have been describing as separate, like I've got a guardian angel, that was part of me all along.
Yes. Yes.
That was me.
Yeah.
Beautiful being.
Yeah.
Who knew? So I'm in this sort of wow again, like you go, sorry, what?
Yeah.
And so this idea of being a human angel is good
Yeah.
because if you like the term angel, and I love it, I love the term angel.
Yeah.
If that works, then yeah, be with it. But I mean, wow, that was just yeah.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned angel because I was shown that archangel and I talked to the archangel that kind of looked after me. But then it's like, oh, it's an aspect of me. And when we talk about archangel, it just means a ray of godness, kind of. So it is because we are God within. So archangel are very high vibrational um, God energy, to put it like that. So the more we embody, So that's the path that both of us are on. Kind of, we have said yes to more light, more light, more light, more light. And when you talked, I was some of the concept I have gone into is water, and we mentioned water in the last episode, and a lot of people, or more and more people, are talking about ESET water or easy water, and it's also called the exclusion zone water. It's kind of a fourth state water, and they say that this is crystallized water. You were talking about crystals, and when we have crystalline water in us, it is holding more light and more energy. So it is actually proven scientifically, and it was Gerald Pollack that, I don't know how many years he brought it up, but they have showed that, well, it is actually a fact. So it's a big difference which state the water are inside us. And me going to the detox, I see that, oh, I have so much energy. So for me, since I have said yes to this experiment, I now feel the difference, all the power I have and the stamina and how I can use my body in a different way, just because I have changed the relationship to the water inside me, and I have kind of programmed it and a relationship that holds more light. And I know that for someone it can be like a woo woo, your body is more light, but we will understand it more and more. But it's so fascinating going into understanding water, because water is a mirror for us, and water is mirroring everything, and we are 70% water. So when water kind of hold more energy, more light, we become more vitalized.
Yeah. Yeah, and you talked about your swimming and stuff. The nearest I get is in the bath when I commune with water. So that's the first thing I did. I when I experienced that, wow, is share it with the water, and it sounds a bit like I said, a bit woo, but I tune in and I feel the intelligence and the love of water and its sense of, its sentience, its intelligence. And then we just exchange. It's almost like I said, I'm talking to you. I've got this new energy. You might like to, and
Yeah.
then we exchange because the water will also have something for me.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, of course.
because, yeah, so it was like, yeah, here we are, look, and we do this sort of connection, and it's yeah, that's one of the things I've started doing.
Yeah.
Is every time I make I feel a change, I'll go and talk to the water, say, hey guys, yeah. That's one of my yeah. It's a very even I'm talking about it now. I'm laughing because I'm thinking, well, you are a bit strange, aren't you? But there you go.
But water is kind of the feminine way of doing it, because water is not linear. It just go where it needs to go. So it is kind of the holder. So all of us are kind of now invited to be more water and to understand that water goes where it needs to go. That is the allowance and the flow. It's the divine flow. So it kind of, we go with the water, the flow, the divine pulse.
Exactly. Yeah, it's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And I guess we've all, because there's been lots of teachings, hasn't there, about, analogies with water flowing down the river and it goes round the rock, not through it, and all those things of illustrating how, why don't you just go with the flow?
Yeah.
And there it was all along. The water just does it. It's how it works.
It was so close, so we didn't see it, because often it's like it's so close, so we just we can't see it because it's so close. So it's often like that.
Yeah, so it's been there all along, but it's great. The ideas that we're sharing, but like we were saying, they still need a language. They still need to be voiced, because I think the a lot of times what we've particularly found it when we've been talking is that the power then comes through on the words,
Yes. Yes.
and it may not be that we in any way intended that to happen. And I think that's the wonder of it as well. It just occurred to me to mention those things, and then woo, here's some new energy, and it's like, and I just lit up with it again, and I know that's going out. So it's sort of, but I didn't design it that way. I guess that's the thing. It's like my website. I haven't actually designed it in any way. I haven't designed it to be a portal for lots of videos that I'm going to sell, or a product or anything. It's just evolving into something.
Yeah.
And these podcasts go up there, and other things that occur to me pop up. But I haven't really got, it's not an engine of any kind that I'm aware of, but I am aware that it's got almost like a life of its own. It's so I treat that as an intelligence as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a mechanism through which this energy may be experienced and find its way out into the world.
Yeah. It. I. My experience is that we open up and allow. And last podcast, I talked about the dandelion effect, and I wasn't supposed to talk about it. And then I thought, okay, because I will write about it, but now it's out there. And I wasn't, because something came to me in May, the 23rd of May, and that was a new word. It wasn't a new word, it's actually an old word, but this autumn, I will be big out there with this word. And it was a soul coming through me. It came actually first time in Mars, and then I said, I don't have time. You can come back when I have finished the Vinima reset. And the exact day after I finished the Vinima reset, it was the 23rd of May, he came through, and it is Tim Bergling. I don't know, have you heard about Tim Bergling? Someone called him Avicii. He was known as Avicii. He was a singer. And then he said, you hold the key to help people with what I wanted to do through my song. Avicii, lot of young people loved Avicii, and he made such amazing music. But he said, I had a longing and I couldn't find the key because he committed suicide. And he said, can you help me to bring something forth? that I couldn't reach when I was in the physical form as a Swedish artist. And he brought the concept of weltsmerts. Weltsmerts is the world sorrow. He felt the world sorrow so deep. And if you listen to the last song he made before he committed suicide, it changed radically. So he went from being kind of a young DJ and creating so much powerful music, and we loved it. But then he changed his style because he wanted to find the balance. He wasn't himself in balance. He thought it was difficult to hold the balance because he felt the weltsmerts, the world sorrow, so deep. So I said yes when he came, and then we made a module 0 in the Vinema Reset that I will give for free. And I said yes to do it in Norwegian, Swedish, and English. So the Norwegian is finished and the English is half finished. So it will be out there probably when this podcast is out. And I have Swedish ladies that have said yes to do the Swedish version, because I cannot go into the Swedish language good enough, because you have to have it in your own mother tongue, kind of. Because this is a free program that help people that feel the weltsmerts. And I did it when I was young. And my son, Alexander, committed suicide. He also felt it. So a lot of young people, the feeling, the sensory of us, because this is the new human, we feel so much. And in this, that's the flip side, that it is difficult. We don't want to be here. We don't find the tools to help us to come in balance. So that's why Tim contacted me. You have the tools that we need. So I said yes to him, and then the word weltsmerts came true. So weltsmerts, I will focus a lot on weltsmert to help young people to find the balance in them.
Yeah. I know I've got first-hand experience with that with my daughter as well. She's been struggling, with personal identity, but also with relating in any way to the world as it is.
Yeah,
It's I think young people have because they've come in with a totally different framework within.
Yeah.
And they're seeing this world of rigidity and structure, and you're only performing if you're doing this, and they're sort of, well, I don't do that. That's not me. I can't do that. So they're then outcasts. They've got these labels, and then they start living the label.
Yeah.
And that's a shame as well, because that's not what they are at all. So yeah, I understand. I haven't felt that myself in my life, but I know that it's a very real situation now. So yeah, that'll be great when that comes out. Super.
Yeah, I lived with that really deep for 2 years in my teenage, and then after 2 years I fell in love, and that I went from the deep wanted to commit suicide because I didn't find tools to cope with all the fear and all the craziness in the world, and I went into being in love, and then you change a state. But even though I just jumped to that one, I had to kind of find the tools afterwards to come in balance.
Sure. Yeah.
So there are so many tools now, and it's much easier now to come in balance. But to have felt it myself, and also it has been very interesting for me to communicate with my husband, because he said it is nothing in his body that will ever go to the thoughts of committing suicide. So for him, it is like, I don't understand the concept of suicide. And I thought for a period that all people have kind of deep inside, we can sense this, but he hasn't. So for me, it has been interesting to reflect with him and others that have never touched, because they are so in contact with their essence, the path that we want to find the balance. So he has, since he was a child, been in very much balance. That's why I was attracted to him, because I saw that he was in balance. And how could I come in balance? Because when I met him, I was not in balance. I was totally out there. So it's like, oh, how can I live up to that? I felt like, but
Yeah.
He holding the space actually helped me to come to that space within, and now I can teach it to others.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Sometimes works that way with a
yeah,
partnership.
but we
Yeah.
are kind of born with the center point. But so it is kind. That's what I say. Divinity reset. We have to reset to come in balance.
Surely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think um, the idea that we're going to suddenly start talking this new language is not quite right, because there's the way that again I'll go back to that book, that the way that they're describing it is actually quite a gentle process that we'll find. We're still, because I've just taken on a bit of responsibility. I'm now a coordinator for a local taxi volunteers scheme, and I get things through, and I have to write them down, and I have to put them in a spreadsheet, and I have to do it. So, that's sort of cementing me back into 3D real stuff,
Yeah.
And I think that while we're doing this other work, it's quite important for us to still be here.
Yep.
And in order for us to still be here, we'll still use some of the old language, because that's what other people we're talking to relate to. So we're not, we know that that's going, and we know that's, polarity doesn't exist in this lovely new place. But if we don't describe, some of those things, then people won't necessarily relate to us. And so I guess that's, yeah, our challenge, if you like, isn't it, is to not be in the energy of those things, but be able to observe them and describe them, and hopefully ease people out of that place, and into a more cohesive, and in the rhythm, in the pulse.
Yes. And when
Yeah.
you describe this new language, as we talk about in the last podcast, the telepathy tape, because more and more young people they do telepathy natural,
Yeah.
and and especially since my oldest son committed suicide 2013, no 2015, my telepathy has grown because he came through just a day after, and after that telepathy became kind of normal because it was so I missed him so much. So for me it was like I have to go with this telepathy. So he helped me to develop my telepathy abilities, and so sometimes tragic happenings actually can help us to develop uh, different skills like telepathy. So
Surely.
and I use telepathy every day now. Like
Right.
when I go in meditation, sometimes I call it ceremony, but meditation, like this morning, and also this feminine rhythm came, that it's kind of a telepathy, because you communicate, and sometimes it's in my mind, and then I said, okay, no, I know that it's my program running. I neutralize it and say, okay, I'm open. What new wants to come in? And then it comes new concept and new ideas that is not mine, new words and new. So I don't say that this is, but this is the way it is for me. I kind of neutralize my mind, and then the conversation, and I ask deeper when new things come. Okay, I want to understand this deeper. Can you show me another aspect? So it's like, but all of us are invited to find our way,
Yeah,
our
yeah.
pulse.
Mm. Well,
Right.
it's like I was talking about my relationship with the guardian angel.
Yeah, yeah,
You sense you sense a word, or there's a sort of knowing that, because all I was getting was open, just keep opening, and then I was feeling blocks in, parts of my body, and then it was just right, open again, open again. So I was getting those, well, I'd say instructions, but those words, but I wasn't hearing full sentences. I tend not to get, I kind of envy, people who, I've got a whole thing here, a whole book, or a whole, this. So when I read it, I think, wow, that's fantastic. Somebody's actually been able to be that clear, to have that precision of, because the language is very precise. it has to be because it needs that clarity of explanation.
Yeah.
Uh, so for me, I'm in the flying around, plugging into new energies thing. I don't get precision of language, but what I do get are these codes, creation codes, if you
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
So
Actually.
yeah,
Mm.
so that's my thing.
Yeah, yeah, and to honor the way because when I talked to the angel, and then he said my name is Angelica, and it's like okay, Angelica, and then he said I'm an aspect of you, and I said oh, then I went to my mind Angelica, oh it's a normal name, and the mind want to go, yeah, but the me embracing the Angelica, it's more me embracing the celestial, more the universal. So it is kind of, and actually it's very fitting to that the name was Angelica because Angelica means angel. As we talk, it's ray of God, ray of Godness.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like yes, it is a common name. So me interweaving the higher and the lower and everything. My earthly name is Elena, and also when this I met this I think it's 12 years ago. It's like Elena. Oh, what a boring name. But that was my mind talking, and but Elena actually means the one who find her strength.
All
So
right.
it is perfect if you just go into it. It's like, okay, I have found my strength, kind of. I feel I have found it. But of course, the evolution, we are in the evolution phase. So we are, yeah, it's going so fast.
Well,
Very,
it really is. Yeah. I mean, each time we talk, and I mean, it's only been what, a fortnight. There's so much happened in between, and so many, enlightening moments, if you like,
yeah,
going
yeah,
back to
yeah.
your light, that we find we've got, quite a lot to talk about. But just reflecting on what you were saying about, going back to this idea that we're becoming more and more of these aspects of ourselves, these angelic aspects, or however we describe, um, and that then adds to the presence of that we are, and again, that word is very powerful for me. Is being present is the thing. It's very much us being here now, and I think because we when we first met in a group situation, we saw each other because we were present.
Yeah,
There was a recognition,
yes,
and a sense that somebody over there is present. And I think that more, again, that's rolling out, that's becoming more prevalent. And I think the more of us are doing this, the more present people are becoming, the more of this lovely pulse that they're experiencing. It's going to ripple. And it's not like a big change um, suddenly occurring. I think it's more of the tide coming in and covering it's a gentle few ripples, but it's going to just come in, and then people are going to go, oh, it feels different. I think it's, the idea of it being chaotic. I know if you look outside in the world, there's lots of chaos. But my feeling about all that is that's the same as these emotions dropping off the karmic cycles. They're having to leave.
yeah,
They have to leave. There's
yeah,
no place for them now. So all of this corruption and whatever's going on it has to leave. It's got to go somewhere, and people have got to see it leaving.
yeah,
That's it. And then when it's gone, and now this new beingness and this new world and this new reality and the way of relating to everything will be the way. It'll just, you know, it's almost like we were talking, like it's been in front of us all this time, like
yeah,
the water flow. It's always been here.
yeah,
But we're at another frequency of awareness, of consciousness, where we've just moved. So that stuff might still be going on somewhere, but we're not there anymore. We're here, and what we're seeing is totally different, and the way of life is totally different. The galaxy is totally different.
yeah,
It might be even celestial beings coming and going in their starships when we finally get to a frequency. Oh, look, I didn't see them before. Oh, I've been all along.
And what you are talking about is the background frequency. So the background frequency we come from is totally different. We are not where we have been. So the background frequency is kind of the consciousness that really is expanding.
Yeah, yeah. There was a lovely analogy in I think again in one of these books by Rebecca Dawson in that it's like we're learning that we were in a cinema and the what was being projected onto the screen we've been interpreting as our reality, and we've been interpreting that someone else is in control, given that there's a projectionist behind us and a film running. So this is our reality currently. That's our belief of what it is. And now this new awareness is taking us back to beyond the projectionist, beyond the projector, and looking, actually, our eyes are now looking out and realizing that actually oh, we've been sat in a cinema. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And now we see it fading away, and the reality that we are that projector. We are what we see is ours. We created it, and we're in this new place. And all we've done is shifted our consciousness
Yes.
to see differently, to see that that's what's happening. So, and I thought that was quite magical. I love that because we've been playing with looking through God's eyes,
Yes. Yes.
and and to have that analogy, which is very practical. So the canvas, we're the projector.
Yeah.
We're playing reality through us.
Yes.
And I thought that's magical. I love that.
Yeah, and I love that too, because what you say, it's heaven on earth. As I have said, we are now creating heaven on earth, and now we are seeing through God's eyes. We are creating our reality because we are in heaven on earth. So I love what you're saying.
It works, doesn't it? And again, it's just a movement of awareness.
Yes.
That's all it is, of a shift of your reference point, if you will. I'm no longer referencing from here. I'm referencing from here, and what I see is totally different.
Heart-centered symphony. We are all is kind of the 0 point, or the heart-centered symphony.
I love it.
And from that, it's like, wow. Then it's kind of, we see through God's eyes because we are gods.
That feels good too, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, Colin, thank you so much for this amazing pulse of a podcast.
Yeah, who knew? We always sort of begin and say, shall we do a podcast? Don't know what we're going to talk about. And then suddenly it all sort of unfolds, doesn't it? So,
Yes.
yeah,
so we have demonstrated it in how it actually functions.
That's it. Yeah, actually, yeah, we have.
Yeah. Thank you, Colin.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to the Divine Design podcast with Ann-Peggy Divine. Join us next Sunday for another Heaven on Earth unfolding conversation. With grace, reverence, and unity, may the path of your divine design light the way. From the divine in us to the divine in you.